I don't think there's a weight in NCAA wrestling that's going to look more different than the heavyweight class. If you look back at last year's heavyweight division, it was an incredible one, insane levels of talent, multiple national champions, wrestlers that had not just NCAA but also international success, and now so many of them are now gone. So we have a completely new look heavyweight class. I want to give you a preview of the heavyweight division, but first you need to know who is not here anymore. So 6 of the top 8 graduated. So almost the entire All-American podium is gone, including the top 3 of Wyatt Hendrickson, Gable Steveson, Colton Schultz. You had national champion Greg Kirkfleet is also graduated. You have Josh Heinzelman is gone. You have Owen Treffen. Those were not just the lower part of the heavyweight, All-American podium. These are the best of the best, and they're all gone. So now you're left with what on paper looks to be, and I would agree, is kind of a wide open weight class, right? Number 1 now is Nebraska's AJ Ferrari. We ranked him at heavyweight. He was non-committal when I interviewed him on what weight class he was going to go. But I believe you look at Nebraska's lineup, they've got Camden McDaniel at 197. It just makes sense. AJ's always wanted to get a little bit bigger. He talks so much about the weight cut down to 197. I'm certain he probably would prefer to go heavyweight. So we have him ranked number 1. And now you think, well, this guy was down at 197 for his entire career. How's he going to do? Well, if you look at heavyweight, that's what a lot of the best wrestlers have a very similar background. Number 2, Isaac Trumbull was a 97-pounder. Number 3, Yonger Bastida from Iowa State was at 97. Number 4, Tega Dali, 97-pounder. Ben Keeter is regarded as one. He's really good, but he's thought of one of the smaller heavyweights, right? So this is not a weight class of gargantuan guys, right? You got Nick Feldman, definitely a guy in the 230s probably, 240 on his best day. So these are not the biggest guys. So for AJ Ferrari moving up in weight class, he's going to be with a lot of wrestlers that are probably similarly sized, right? So I don't think he's going to be in that big of a disadvantage. But I will say it is a different style of wrestling, and these guys are all bring really unique skill sets. For me, I think there's a number of title contenders. I think obviously AJ Ferrari is a national champion, so he has a great shot to win a title. But then you think about Isaac Trumbull, what he's been able to do on the freestyle stage, as well as having a really good transition up to 285. Yonger Bastida was someone going into the 2024 NCAAs. He beat Wyatt Hendrickson, and it looked like he could be the one that beats Greg Kirkfleet and then he had a pretty bad NCAA tournament, didn't even place. That was shocking. But going into that tournament, remember, he had won Vegas. He had beat the national finalist Lucas Davison. And then he had beaten Wyatt Hendrickson at Big 12. So you're like, wow, he really could beat Greg Kirkfleet. And then he was out. So now he's back. He's healthy, we believe. So Yonger Bastida absolutely has the goods to win this weight class. But AJ has a win over him. But Yonger, since that time, has gotten so much better. Then you've got Tega Dali, who maybe as far as from where this guy started as a wrestler, go look up his wrestle stat, look up his credentials, and look up the long path he's been on to becoming an elite heavyweight. If his trajectory continues, he is going to be in the mix. And then you factor in that he's transferring from Campbell to Michigan. Michigan, that's not about Campbell, that's about Michigan, who has a track record of heavyweight success. You're going from Adam Kuhn to Mason Paris, and then you saw what they just did with Josh Heinzelman. Heinzelman was a gatekeeper kind of All-American type of guy, never going to get on the podium. And then you look at what he did last year. Heinzelman got so much better. You look at what they did with Lucas Davison the year before, right? Getting him in the national finals, his best every year. Now, can they do the same with Tega Dali? You cannot count that out. You can't say he can't beat AJ Ferrari. He can't beat Isaac Trumbull. He can't beat Yonger Bastida. Gadali's probably going to be in that mix, right? And then, I'm never getting off the Nick Feldman train, even though he did not take a step forward last year. He didn't. It was definitely from his previous year, his results weren't as good. But the talent, I still believe it's there. I think Nick Feldman can have a great, great career. And then there's some new faces coming in, right? I've already mentioned AJ and Younger Bastida Gadali, but you've got Nathan Taylor from Lehigh. This is a more under the radar name, but I'm telling you, this guy is the real deal. Big guy, can wrestle from everywhere. Has been one of the bigger surprises. I think even for Lehigh when they recruited him, like, yeah, I mean, I think he walked on initially, or probably a low money guy, and now he's become certainly an elite heavyweight. And now, don't be surprised to see him on the podium this year. You've got Connor Doucette. He was on the bench last year for Oklahoma State behind Wyatt Hendrickson. Now he's back in the mix. You've got Hunter Katka, who was behind Jim Mullen, now at Rutgers. Always liked his talent. Very, very skilled guy. Big, great athlete. I think he's going to wrestle well at Rutgers. Braxton Amos, back from injury, up at heavyweight. Right, he was at 97 previously. The cut was apparently very difficult for Braxton. I'm hoping he's healthy. I want to see Braxton Amos, who, if you remember, after AJ won in 2021, the conversation was Braxton versus AJ, potentially the NCAA finals. That was a conversation because Braxton was such a standout in the international styles. It looked like that was going to be the collision. Didn't work out that way. Now Braxton is back at the heavyweight division for Wisconsin. Excited to see what he can do. And then you've got a couple freshmen. Coy Hopke from Minnesota. Minnesota knows heavyweight wrestling. They just produce. They wrestle really well up there. Hopke had a year. He didn't wrestle, though, so he's not ranked right now. We didn't see him in any NCAA matches, but his freestyle accolades over the years are exemplary. You have Aiden Addo for Oregon State. Greco guy, but also can really freestyle, a really good all-around wrestler. And then you've got Cole Mirasola for Penn State, someone that you can't count out from that all-American level. He's our U20 World Team rep. He knocked out a pretty tough field there in international wrestling. Now, he is undersized. He may be the smallest guy at this division, but he's been able to wrestle well against the bigger guys. So it's going to be a really exciting 285-pound division. So many new faces, a lot of exciting styles, right? These are all pretty much smaller heavyweights, slick leg attacks, good scramblers, good counter offense. I think this will be a really fun year at the heavyweight division, and it could not look more different from 285, which was the weight of Gable and Wyatt and Greg Kerfleet. Now, heavyweight's going to look a little bit different. So I want to ask you, who do you think wins the division? Who's the favorite? Are you going with AJ Ferrari, or do you think some of these other guys have a shot at the title? I want to hear from you.